Welcome back to the soggy, slippery fields here in Bruges. We are at the extended European Ultimate Championship finals. I am Hannah Pendlebury, delighted to be joined in our commentary pavilion this fine evening with mixed division semi-final action. It's the revenge game, PuTi from Finland versus Salaspils from Latvia. And getting us underway, Essi Inkinen finds her teammate Leno on the far side of the field. How are we feeling about this matchup here, Stefan?
Looking like a tasty matchup. We know I always want to say last year, but last time they matched 2 years ago, this was a semi-final matchup, and we know Salaspils got away with it, and we're on here. It looks like PuTi's opening up on the right foot, Hannah, but as far as the matchup goes, it's a phenomenal matchup. They both had a wonderful run, of course, to get through to the semifinals. Salaspils beat them in the semi and then went on to win the championship 2 years ago in Kaorle. And I'd imagine PuTi was seeing themselves a couple points away from a championship themselves. So I'd imagine this game was circled for them quite some time ago, and they're going to be frothing on it as you see them coming out taking that first point.
Well, I love the phrase frothing on it, because they are indeed going to be gunning for Salaspils. A nice, easy hold there, although nearly a bit of a slip on the far sideline for the number 17, Tommy Samberi, who really just demonstrated how awful the pitches are here in Bruges. We've had a complete restructuring this morning of the format. Lots of games have been turfed, literally, because we want to be saving the turf and saving the body. So hopefully PuTi can put together some good defense here. But yes, this is indeed the grudge match. It was the Salaspils were quiet the last time these two Titans met in the semi-finals, and they nearly threw it all away, but there's going to be some spicy blocks for sure as these two athletic forces battle it out in front of us. So Barnans in the center of the field pops into a rather snoody centre handler. Adbetinj. Nice find in the middle. Adbetinj bring it in. Don't think Salaspils have passed to any of their ladies yet.
Not once. The boys have been playing in the backfield. Let's see how that develops.
Nolofska's in the snood. In fact, they've got two snooded players, and that's a nice reach out again. No ladies getting involved in the Salaspils connections, but the boys just happy to put the first one in the bank.
Orlovskis gets the hand reached out to cash in that goal. And an interesting observation there, watching the men dominate play for the Latvians in that very first offensive hold. Not necessarily their style, taking what's open. Maybe the ladies were well covered in that one, but an interesting observation. We'll keep our eye on that as this one develops. And as far as the turf goes, games being turfed, slips you mentioned, it's very. I mean, our cameras give you a great view right now on the mud on these boots, but it is a slick track out there. Cuts take so much longer to develop. Wheels start spinning. Dirt gets kicked. Mud gets kicked up in the air. It's a crap fight, as I'll say online here, but it turns into one of those kind of games where they're just slinging it at each other because everything gets messy out here.
Well, we have seen some varied strategies here to try and overcome the conditions on the field. Some have just played huck and D, but I think the whole thing is you have to keep the mentality high, as we see Garvey snaffle up a missed shot that was trying to hit Samberi. And it's going to go straight to the end zone. Garvey with the assist, reeling it in, the number 91, Emils Esknis.
Ned the Narwhal with his new mustache and his new visionary cross-field outside-in forehands. He gets all the way across there to Emils Elksnitz. And that one looked absolutely fantastic. The misthrow, the wind got a piece of that, went up and over the PuTi intended receiver. Ned had a chance to gobble it up, ate that snack, and made good with it in one throw.
Ned Garvey with the tasty stick. But that is a clean hold for the D-line of Salaspils. As you say, The last time these two met up, it was PuTi in charge all game long, and then that last gasp 3-break run, late stages for Salaspils. And that was...
Do you think they've forgotten that?
Oh no, I know for sure, for speaking for both teams on the field in front of us, they remember it well.
Okay, so quick style chat here. Uniform matchup, who's winning?
It's got to be Salaspils.
It's got to be. They look great in black, like the Raiders.
Although I am digging the nice contrast on the back of the PuTi shirts, as we see Jokinen with the disc centering back to xEUCF. Of course, a lot of the ladies on this Finnish side coming from the powerhouse club of Atletico, as we see Lena run that one in, but just a little bit short.
You can say she ran out of gas, or the throw just had a bit too much on it, I think. Missed by about a foot there. Not talking metrics, sorry about that, but by about a foot, and just off, and another chance to break for Salaspils.
Absolutely, if they can do this clean, then they are putting their stamp all over this game. Surulet looks at the inside break, makes a nice flat one into the space. We've seen the Salaspils ladies going to work. Gulbe going to put it up a little bit too short, but he macks it almost into the waiting palms.
I thought his mac was going to be an assist there, or at least a continuation to the reception. Zizi Malderis was behind the disc, and he got a hand on it that he never would have had the defensive mac not touched it. But the Mac, we can say, did his job because it went to turf in the end.
But only just. That's the kind of, well, later stage of the game, the heart and throat moment if you go toe to toe. But it falls in favor of PuTi, and they get the second shot. That's a nice big gainer into the end zone under huge pressure. Just about comes down with it. Hotari looking around, surveying her options. Doesn't seem to have any she likes the look of. The head cock is there, and she puts it into space. Lena tries to snaffle it. Heavy pressure from Lasma Kubliczka.
Oh, Hotari needed to dump it there. There's a little bit of preservation of greatness. She made that catch was incredible, with the larger male defender trailing on the, or coming on the inside help. Her defender playing well positioned behind. The throw was perfect. She boxed out, kept her wit, but the throwaway and Salaspils are back.
Oh, an easy throwaway there. A gift for the Finns, as we see xEUCF just about to come into shot and pick that up. Oh no, I take it back. It's not Essie. It's going to be Jano Silva. But Inkinen is the center of this attempt at goal. Nice smothering defense from Salaspils, and it's going to come up with a block. xEUCF being yelled at to make sure she follows Gulbe all the way down, but Linda unable to connect.
We're going back to the turnover on the other side of the field there. You really, from my perspective, you got a great look at what these conditions are doing. Zizi's Malderis put his hand out, left hand, what should have been an easy catch. You saw the wind grab a hold of that disc. It just jumped up and down in the elevator shaft there. A should be easy catch, went underneath. But then the turnover the other way, the deep shot. And now
a deep shot to respond. We're going to have lots of bodies underneath it, but Leno picking up the trash, immediately palms it off to Sandberg. Puts it out. Ooh, a little bit risky there with the poaching off in the lanes from Salaspils, nearly getting it up in the mix. Inkinen. Oh, look at that. Beautiful disc. Still a few meters shy. This is better movement. Opening up, nice low grab. Again, that's Leno putting her mark all over this point. Again, Salaspils really taking off the options. Jokinen. Oh my goodness, what on earth was that?
I have no idea. That's a tough one to analyze because it is not at all what anyone on that team would have liked to see come out of hand. the PuTi can't be happy with their end zone defense right now. They keep getting in front and keep throwing it away when they get to the doorstep.
Chirula with a little bit of a wobbly backhand goes up the line immediately. Well covered by Leno. Kublichka, the Eurostar, usually famed for reeling the disc in with tippy toe insaneness.
I think that's her first touch of the game. We'll see how much she can inject herself as we keep going here.
Indeed. Love that throw from Chirula. Just a little inside cheeky, almost air bouncy. And Salaspils taking their time here, but getting a lot more free than PuTi. They seem to have the edge in terms of athleticism right now. But great credit to PuTi. Oh, huge pressure from Leno, nearly getting the snaffle run through block. Chirula, the big arm going around, sending it into the air, but it's sending completely out of bounds. And Samberi makes sure.
Yeah, gives himself a little break too, not getting it that far out of bounds, make the offense Salaspils have to go take a little walk to go recuperate the disc. These long points, I always say they count for double. The multi-turn, they don't, but the multi-turnover points, especially if you get the break. Multi-turnover point, you get the break and you keep the offense on the field. They are the backbreakers of these games.
Absolutely, and in the early stages of the game, you can recover from a broken back, you can heal yourself, but it just takes chunks out of you, as we see Inkinen bringing the disc back into the field. I wouldn't be surprised here, Stefan, to hear them call a timeout.
Nor would I.
In fact, you made the hand signal before I even said it, and Essi Inkinen agrees.
Not a bad call at all. Tough place to come in their coffin corner, but the right time for that breather. I find in this tournament, being a participant at a coaching level, that with this horrible weather all weekend long, the defense really dictates now. Like opening pulls, I myself was opting to play defense, which I would never do. You lose one extra possession in a game, but it's games of runs right now. If you can get the defense firing, keep the offense misses one, they get a slippy disc, you can really go on a run. And then all it takes is that hole, and it can go right back the other way. But there's a lot less trading in weather like this, and it's trading runs. It's one run for the next. So we'll see if we get a glimpse of that. It's only 2-1. We haven't seen any running yet, but this weather has some tendency to make the trading as trading runs rather than trading points.
Well, we'll see how these two fare against the conditions.
How have you been holding up here with this weather, Hannah? It's a tough job for us commentators, It's toughing it out here in these conditions. We're under, we've got some shelter, of course, but you staying warm? You doing well here?
Well, my true respite, Stefan, is to have you in the booth with me.
Well, yes,
that warms my soul, my cockles, my heart, all of the good things.
Well, I'm so glad for the reciprocity of that.
And no, I'm truly and deeply British. So unlike the poor souls that had to come here from Sardinia, where the conditions were completely the opposite, warm sunshine, soft breeze, beautiful sand, I brought my wellies, my waterproof trousers, my anorak and my umbrella. So I am set and fit for all conditions here. But in terms of these two teams, who do you think has the advantage from their home nation in terms of playing in conditions like this?
Oh, geez, Helsinki or I haven't been to either of them.
Well,
I'll think on that.
If you have any opinions on that, please do get involved in the comments. I know they're already lively. We will be checking them throughout the game. So if you've got any fun little facts you want to slip into us behind the scenes, then please do, as we see Samberi put up a huge sitter. A lot of these hucks, Stefan, are sitting and hanging for a long time, making it so hard to pull them down.
Poorly thrown option. The option was there, probably needed a bit more outside in on it. Hung in that wind, and the receiver just had a real tough time trying to read his defender and the disc at the same time.
Well, sort of putting the disc forward to Gulbe. Gulbe with lots of national representation for the Latvian women's team, as Kazlitska is seen as the target for Trust and Hope. A big old pack of individuals behind, and who comes in with the block? The number 27, Toku Valnanen.
And again, you just see what the weather's doing. I'll say it was a poorly executed throw by Tsitsi's Maldaris, but poorly executed partially because of what the weather did to it. That hung up in the air way too long. That needed to be a bit of a laser to get to where Lasma, the laser Kublitska, would have been. But yeah, too much hang, too much float in these conditions.
Indeed, and it's just adding that extra edge to the defense, which right now seems to be causing equal pain, regardless of which color shirt you're wearing. So really, I mean, it's pretty obvious to state it. Both teams really, really want this. And even though she had the space away from the defender who misread it, Hotari unable to bring that one in. So a relatively short field for Salaspils right now, who make a costly error themselves. Cerule overthrown. And this is a little bit messy with now 2 turnovers apiece after the timeout, which means 5 overall.
That's a lot of turnovers.
Inkinen, oh, I like that cheeky around fake. Good wrist snap. If you want someone to study on film for throwing repertoire, then Inkinen is not a terrible shout.
Not
she goes
at
up
all.
line. Hotari under huge pressure, going to make the foul call there. Looks to be a contest from Helen Terra. Oh no, uncontested, sorry. I missaw the hand signals. So Helen Terra trying to cause issues. And after playing some nice work through, Hotari is going to put it up for somebody underneath it. Oh, just gets a tiny piece, but can't clasp the claw.
Tommy Sandberg's gotta get the sticky hands on that one in a long point like this. That was there for the taking. Another, you know, it's a high throw. It's overhead, a one-hand grab, but at this level, even in these conditions, those ones gotta be taken home, especially when these points count for double, theoretically. On the long multi-turnover point. We're on our 6th turnover now.
Indeed we are. And it's not what either of these teams want to see. But Salaspils with their chance for a second break. Will they be able to make some magic out of this one? In comes Kublitska. Huge pressure from Anna Jokinen. Popping it back around, no yards gained, but Cerule now across the field. This is a little bit better found. Some flow, Terra far side. Cerule. Oh, and just a bit of a lack of focus there, perhaps from Jurgensen's.
Tried to catch it with his chest rather than his hands. Must have very impressive pectoral cleavage. He was trying to pull that one off.
Pectoral cleavage, I like it. So PuTi getting us back underway. Big backhand break. That's very nice. Can they connect it? A little bit hesitant. Quite rightly so. Samberi looking to finish this point off conservatively. Nothing too spicy because these conditions are making it so hard if anything is even slightly loose.
Multi-turnover and multi-end zone offense opportunities. They keep getting down here. So this is their 3rd crack at the can.
And there's working it nicely between them. Oh, and there we go. We finally get it finished off. It's Hotari there with the goal for PuTi. It is a hold.
Okay, I had totally lost whether there was a hold, a break, who knows after that many turnovers, but glad to see that PuTi has held that one. Again, if had that gone the other way, that is a soul crusher, we'll call it, for the offense. At least they cash in the point. Both lines, both teams changed their line, put some fresh players out there, and we're playing a brand new point now. But had that gone Salaspils' way and they would have had to leave their offense out on the field, that's really when these things start to turn into runs.
Absolutely, especially because it is starting to get mighty chilly out here. It's not been the warmest day.
Okay,
Can't
starting to get mighty chilly. The chilliness has maintained so long that our bodies are starting to react to them. Maybe that.
I think it's more what more my point is, we're starting to get to the later stages of the day. The sun is going.
Gone.
It is. Well, it was never really present today.
Does the sun exist in this country?
I come from Britain. Come on, this is nothing. But in terms of the temperature, it is getting down. So actually staying off the field for a long time. It's going to be interesting to see how these fresh lines, because there are going to be lots of fresh legs appearing on the pitch. How can they prevent the score, or actually just even put their offense together? As we see Rude actually coming off from the last point, one of the key parts of the set of players for this Latvian club. Although I forget exactly where else in Europe she is living, but certainly when we lost her in Karole, as we see a snaffle block. Oh my goodness, great stuff from PuTi, but Surule living not in Latvia, I believe, at the moment.
Ron Hotari leaving his feet there, making a sensational layout bid to get that one back for PuTi, and their first break opportunity on this point, but that one knocked away. No, she thought about a call, but letting it go.
And this is more what we want. We want blocks, not errors. Blocks, not drops. As Salaspils wait for their opportunity, and that looks to be the number 64. Santa Cincha. There we go. I found her on my sheet eventually.
Makes it a 3-2 game now. Salaspils maintaining the pace of it. They're staying ahead. And you talked about earlier, is a fresh line actually a fresh line? They're coming off of a jaw chattering, knee shaking sideline. When they go out, are they fresh? And it's a tough one. Again, knowing the way I was managing our players, insisting on having breakaway clothing. We had people coming to the line, jacket takers, so they could keep jackets on to the very last minute. And I think it's very, very important stuff to keep these bodies on and off, clothes on and off as you come on and you come off of the pitch.
I'm liking that on the far sideline to the left of the PuTi team, as we see a lovely long shot of Ned Garvey with his interesting facial hair. Not sure that's his strongest look, but a handsome young man in some people's eyes. But there's an amazing sort of Kagul type. Well, no, actually. What's the word? The word escapes me. The big yellow bag that's over the player on the far side.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, what's that called again?
A poncho? A rain poncho?
That's the Badger. I'm liking that look. But are you a fan of the raincoat under jersey?
No, raincoat under jersey. I'm a big, style player. As that one goes in, PuTi jams one up the line, big huck up the far sideline. And they cash back in, keeping it at serve. But no way. Look, I mean, why do the Yankees always wear their pinstripes? Because the opponents are always watching how good they look and forget to defend them. And for me, I feel the same way. You want to look good out there. You can't have these garbage bags under your pants and looking double bloated or ponchos over top. Like you do it on the sideline. When you're on the field, you run it. You can't be cold. You're not going to be cold for that 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 minutes if you're running at full pace. Get off the sideline, put everything on top. But yeah, I got no love for the under raincoat.
Well, there's also the thing of you get really sweaty inside it. It's not like a fast wicking type, scenario. You're going to be circulating your own filth inside that bad boy.
Yeah.
But tell you what, it was rather filthy in the fourth point of this matchup between these two established and very tasty club sides in the mixed division. But things are a lot cleaner. That one was a completely spotless hold for PuTi, and this looks to be exactly the same. Shocking, deeply shocked. You can see the anguish on the face afterwards. Had it all to lose, and he did.
Oh my goodness, Orlovskis wound up on that, fired an absolute bullet. Beautiful pace, beautiful distance. It hurts watching a perfect throw get dropped like that. Looking over to the other side of the field very quickly, the other semi, And the Dutch squad, the young squad that are aging, are maturing a bit. Groot are up 5-0 over Flow there, so they are all but booking their ticket into the final.
Oh, and there we see getting the block back, redemption for Salaspils. Which is what you got to do. But we were scouting earlier, like in the new jerseys.
Of Groot. Oh, yeah. The maroon and the super long blue shorts of the past. I hope that is ancient history for them. They look much better in the red. They've got the new age shorts, regular knee length or higher. Looking good, Groot.
Oh, and there we just see a lot of pressure. A little apology there, the hand going up of, sorry I slid all over you, but you can see in these isolated plays right in front of the disc how hard it is to turn on the field. You see Wedmans putting it forward. Nice reaching grab in front for Bedmans. And there we go, a goal for Salaspils, and that is a hold.
Great game. After the first 6 turnover point, we've had a couple turnovers. We've been holding. It's tidied itself up a bit in the last 3 points now. And Salaspils started on 0. They're maintaining their maintaining the lead, dictating the pace.
Indeed, but we do have they do have that one break up.
So they started on. Sorry, they started on D.
So we did indeed. That was the start of the game was the clean hold for PuTi, which we expected, right? Based on the previous game between these two in this same berth, trying to get yourself into the final, probably going to be going against it. Are we going to see Salaspils advance and then have a replay? I think that was in Kaole, the two teams met. We were both there, Stefan.
We most certainly were. It was a wonderful time back then in Kaole. Oh my God, we might get one here. No, it's close. If it was catchable, I would have had that.
I was just worried that it was going to hit the nice glass of Bruges over our equipment here. This is the last assignment we have today, so we're taking a little sip as we enjoy this game.
I would have had a layout D on that if it was going to hit the beer.
You have your priorities straight. Inkinen, Magberg, Gulbe getting us back in action. Shilvo going to pop it across to Nori. Reino, far side. Oh, it just skirts over the top of the defenders, and the goal is called. My oh my, that was a risky biscuit.
You called that right, over the top of the defenders. That was over the top of defenders, other attacking players. There's about 3-4 hands in the air that were only centimeters in some case, maybe a foot in other cases, but that was a risky biscuit indeed. It was a risky flight path because of what was in between, but it did hit the target bang on.
Well, we are getting into the meat of the first half. 4-4, Salaspils up 1 break. So just that little nose in front, and after that extraordinarily grindy point with 6 turnovers apiece just for a hold, we've cleaned it back up. It is 0 turnovers for the past couple points. And that is what we need to see. That's what we expected to see. Although the weather is responding by getting just that little bit less pleasant. Not that it was pleasant to begin with.
Interesting question from Hero2 on the stream on what's that tent for directly behind the end zone. I have no idea. We have
it's your timeout corner if you're
timeout. If somebody's been bad, if they've thrown a poor option, they got to go sit in the thinking corner over there, sit in the tent, reflect on what they've done so wrong before they can take the field again. That's my best guess.
So back in play after that stoppage, and it's an immediate flick play, but it's going to be just about pulled in. I thought he'd come under and completely misread that, but I think that's Orlovsky's with the goal.
Quite the opposite, in fact. He read it really well. He stepped into the defender, and then it made the defender read him, and then took 2 nice steps back. He was falling. It looked a little bit awkward, but I do think his first step into the defender was quite intentional to get the separation he would need only moments later to reel that one in, as he did.
Yeah, it's making me concerned for a moment, but clearly just a little bit Frisbee smarter than I. As we're joined by a wet, bedraggled, beshorted Liam Grant now in our booth, wandering around looking rather
one of the sexiest things I've seen walking around these fields in Bruges. I saw him playing earlier, running the front of the PuTi, and running the front of his zone, and I was up in the rugby club having a sandwich, and I could spot him a mile away. There's like this glowing aura around him of red, luscious sexiness, and he wears it well. We'll get in his ear and find out how Pelt did, but I know he's doing just fine. It's shining off of him.
He's got a Bruges in one hand firmly as Sandberg puts up a big one. There is a PuTi sandwich, but going up strong, absolutely dominating in the end zone. Erkanini with the goal, and another squeaky clean hold. And
he wore that contact really well. He would have had some potential justification to call a foul had he not caught it. He took a bump here, as you'll see, as the disc was in the air just before he put a foot down. There's the bump there, but didn't let it affect him. Took the next 3 steps, went up and took home the goal for PuTi.
Well, I have to say, Stefan, you said we'd see some runs of several points apiece, but actually we've only had that one break. But apart from that, it's been sort of toe-for-toe trading.
The offenses are figuring it out, whether they're doing it on clean holds and this is also what happens a lot of the time too, is you get a lot of your best athletes on the O-line. So if they do give it up, they've got a pretty good shot at getting it back. And maybe that could be the difference. Either way, I'm proved quite wrong at this stage of the game. It is not a game of runs, it is a game of trading points.
And so as we're joined in the pavilion by one of our favourite players, not that we have real favourites, but Lashma Kublichka giving us a little bit of equipment to look after for her as her team advance down the field. Fernand's going to put a big one up. Vestman on the chase, just about blocks it out. What a battle between those 2 athletes. The intended receiver denied. That looks to be Olovska.
Let's have another look at this. What a battle between the 2. Westman is, I've seen her play 3 or 4 times at least now from a mic'd position, and she continues to impress. She is a big body. She moves very quick, and does she ever throw that body on the line? That was an incredible layout, and the attacking layout was sensational too. There would have got that disc in 9 times out of 10 unless Westman's in front of her.
And Sicele, sorry, not the matchup for Vestman. Really enjoy watching the women of Latvia play on beach, but it's just as fun to watch them out here on these slippery, slidey fields as we see this one tracked in. Oh, but taken out of the sky by the big man, Janis Bernards. A little bit of chill, just opens up the big arm, has his teammate under it. Albertines tries, but so much pressure from PuTi on that one. Not necessarily the smartest choice, perhaps.
No, and that was a layout that didn't get a touch, but that he blurred the vision a little bit, made the receiver think. It hit him in the hands. He dropped that disc. It did not get D'd. You got to count that as an unforced error to some end, but it was mildly forced. It was that the effort was just enough. That's when you feel that pressure.
And another huck comes out. This one looks pretty darn good, though just shy of the goal line. Pack coming through. Doesn't like the look of any of the options. Are we going to see a timeout called? No, just squeaking it past. Olovskis. Now, we need to see them be more expansive, give go, but call on the play.
So 64, Jason McKean for PuTi has done it all so far. I thought he was going to get the assist there, but he made the layout block down at one end. He got it back through the huck, and he's in a position to throw an assist here. So it could be a triple crown point for him. He goes the dump.
Well, sometimes you've got to be conservative, and when you have this sort of opportunity in these conditions, just need to play some perhaps small ball patient offense. Oh, nice leading pass, and didn't take the open option in the end zone, but fair enough. Fair cop. The women of Latvia are pretty amazing, but asking way too much there of Inka Vestman.
Yeah, I'll give a good yuck to that option. It was, there was so much more available. He had resets, even just having another look back to the stack and waiting for a break, so like a clean break side, flat direct throw. That was a little bit of a hope. And again, the PuTi end zone offense is failing them. They're scoring on the big stuff in the hucks, but when they get close, they're letting themselves down.
So putting it up high. Surprised actually to see so many of these passes be high in these high winds, but I tell you what, that one isn't going to quite make it work for Salaspils. They're trying to hit the number 99. Who else? Olovskis, but doesn't quite work. So PuTi with another chance. We're getting our second proper grinder here on this semi-final match in a wet, windy and rainy.
And so old school vertical stacks, I found, started to work very well in a tournament like this, at this stage of the game, when the whole center of the field is trashed. The sidelines seem to be the green space, and starting in a central vertical, you get a little bit more footing out on the sides, and playing old school could be the way to go. There's the chase on the goal line, Hannah.
I believe that was the takeaway. Bit of defense there, Tom's Albertinch with the heads-up play, the only defensive player, but pretty tall bloke, able to reel it in, and we get a timeout rather unsurprisingly. It's 3 turnovers apiece. Hopefully this timeout's a little bit more effective at settling the heads of the players.
So
they seem to be circling up together.
This is the second point that will count for double, theoretically. This is the second time we've had a real multi-turnover point. The last time Salaspils got the benefit of that, it would be PuTi's turn based on that. And it's one of those things that, like, you know, it's an arbitrary thing to say they deserve it, PuTi, but they do right now. Like, they gotta get, like, they deserve it if they get it right. I would like to see them get it from an end zone set. I'd like to see them move it forward, have that same opportunity, and be able to take advantage of that opportunity. That's the part that's missing from their game that I think if they can put it together, it's that it could be that X factor, that added element.
Well, only time will tell what will unfold.
And so, the Ned Garvey mustache. You're not a fan. I quite like it. I like the lip caterpillar.
We need to wait for a long shot on it. We'll get our camera crew. Yeah. People in the comments, you can decide. Ned Garvey's mustache, yes or no.
And so we're split decision here in the booth. We got a yes from myself and a no from Hannah.
Although at the moment I am digging the droplet of water that is coming off of his nose. It's a proud nose, a Roman nose, some might say.
He just noticed it though. He wiped it away.
That's the thing. He's so focused on the game.
Oh, it's back though.
Yeah, so focused on the game. It's gonna reappear every time, just like how we have puddles inside the roof of the pavilion of commentary here as the conditions start to pick up, and I start to get nervous about being surrounded by quite so many personal electronic devices.
You start to feel like people want to be around you, but they're just using us for our shelter.
Well, this is a staff-only zone as we see them churning towards the end zone. Big defensive play. And the goal is denied, but that was a nice throw. But yet another turnover.
Emil Wiedemann sacrificed the body there, put it on the line, laid out safely. I think he had great body control there. He went around, got the left shoulder inside, and just enough room to stretch that left arm out and get the D.
So back with possession, we have PuTi, the Finns, trying to make some magic happen together. Westman immediately going deep and taken as the opportunity. She's so big. It's really hard to get anything up of her. Big old slip in the center of the field, though, as we see the disc in the hands of Wiedemann. Nice reset. This is good, patient stuff. McKean. Around. Big backhand break. Salaspils really cannot be affording to give those up. Two-hand grab, Rekula. Big arcing blade across, and it's going to be just about kept by PuTi. They get the goal and the break back.
Jason McKean hangs on to that one. The defense was there, did just about everything they could have done. Bodies flying, defense on both sides, macked, bobbled, and hung on to. That's the same Jason McKean that I said deserved the Triple Crown a few points ago, so he waited a point to cash it in. But having himself a heck of a game right now. Number 64, Jason McKean for PuTi, well done. And they've put themselves into a 1-point deficit, or are we all tied up at 6 again?
Back on serve. So starting the game is PuTi with a clean hold. It's then been the first blood went to Salaspils, and we've just had a break. So it is 6-5 to PuTi even, she says.
So
just making sure our scoreboard is correct.
Back in front, 2 breaks now, balancing breaks, 1 break apiece. We're on serve again. But first lead in quite some time, or all game. No, there was the first lead.
PuTi
1-0.
started the game ahead.
Yes.
PuTi started the game ahead. And so we're back to where we ought to be based on the toss, and a big, nice lefty backhand pull. A little bit of pink sleeve jazz action there for PuTi. As we see Salaspils getting underway for their chance at an offensive hold, hopefully. So Jalure dancing in the middle of the field cannot be redeemed. The big hero bed from Jurgensen's trying to scoop that one off the mud bath.
Ooh, end zone offense and break opportunity all at once.
Oh, and it's a big around, and oh my goodness, what a flying grab. That is gorgeous, and it is PuTi's second break on the trot. Here's the run you predicted, Stefan.
Holy jumping Jowilikers, that man put his cape on. I'm not even going to try with that name. Jesse Sastamoinen leaves his feet, puts the cape on, and makes a heroic grab to get the break, to cash in their first end zone O opportunity and give themselves a nice little buffer here for the first time in this game.
I think you did an excellent job of pronouncing Jesse's name based on the reaction to my pronunciation of him in the quarterfinal, where PuTi bested Seskidiskus pretty well. And I don't think we're at the timed half yet, not quite 45 minutes expired on the game clock, so this one's going pretty much as should be expected for the time allotted for it. And yeah, we definitely saw a lot from Jesse Sastamoinen in the quarterfinal match, and he's doing much more the same. But that's the first real, I think, big offensive play we've seen to generate some excitement, to generate some momentum for PuTi.
PuTi coming up big in the late stages of the first half.
And indeed, 7-5 the score. Our camera crew doing scorekeeping for us, as well as keeping the scenes rolling here on the rather wet and soggy fields.
So we will get that scoreboard corrected for you. It's not 6-6, it is 7-5.
But all good. We know, just listen to what we're saying. Don't look at the screen. Listen to mine and Stefan's beautiful voices as we chaperone you through the late stages of the first half here. Semi-finals at the xEUCF. And if you would like to be able to have an accurate scoreboard, we're going to need a producer. What do we need for a producer that's just producing, Stefan? A more budget. And how do people contribute to the budget? It's keeping these live streams completely free to view for eternity, / as long as servers that provide YouTube videos exists.
Well, that's very easy. You go to ULTI.TV, you hit the Patreon button, and you become a member. There's multiple ways of doing it. You can do it for as little as a coffee a month. You can get in, you can get out, you can do it temporary, you can do it long term, you can pay more, you can pay less, and everything you do helps us out, so we appreciate everything that you're going to do for us. Thank you in advance for your service.
In anticipation, even. And if you become a member, you get voting rights for some of our live streams. It's been a little bit junky. Some of the voting hasn't been announced quite as early as we will in the future, but make sure you get your subscriptions sorted so you can support ultimate coverage everywhere. There is a big poach in the space, but Salaspils find the perfect part of the end zone to sink it into. And it's Portuguskis with the goal. And that is a hold.
A nice throw, a bit of vision on that throw, and they had to put the right shape on it. Went right over a PuTi defender standing in the lane, and worked out very, very nice. Of course, going to Podroskis for the goal. And after the buffer was established, Salaspils strikes back, gets back in the end zone. 1 point lead, but a chance for PuTi to take half. With a 2-point buffer as they receive this time. And the rain keeps coming. I was about to say it's coming just a bit heavier now. It's just consistently been coming down just a bit more, a bit more. It's cold, it's wet. We're under a beautiful tent here. We got the fireman services of Liam Grant keeping the rain droops empty. Empty in the tent. Everybody at work here making sure this production gets streamed well to you. Edge, our cameraman, standing under the rain. He played for this Salaspils team in Caorle, and it's like he's there for us right now, doing it tough in the rain.
Indeed, toughing it out as we see a layout bid, but the clap catch is missed for Samberry.
Totally turned that one upside down on himself. Had every little piece of it and just flipped the hands over instead of squeezing them together.
Upside down, inside out, all around. As we see Salaspils happy to take a couple of negative yard passes. Publishka in the middle, but a rather dry-looking Salaspils player right in front of us, who didn't catch the number of. Just arrived on the field in his fetching green hat.
Ned Garvey's mustache throws that around.
He's not a man, he's a mustache. It's a little bit Mario. That's it. In front of us, Jurgensen's. As the wind shakes our pavilion around, we just see puddles falling down, but the wind really picking up. We haven't seen since the early stages of the game, I don't believe, on the field. As I say, looking mighty dry, but unfortunately he doesn't seem to have his head quite in it. In Keenan, given the reset. Varman punches in. Oh, big bid from Garvey, but it's going to leave the thrower the ample opportunity to put a sitter and a hanger in. Oh, the early bid doesn't come good. Canini with the goal for PuTi, and that is half with the hold.
Nini with a great reception there. A beautiful huck going the length of the field. The bid by Garvey just about there, but PuTi taking this game of inches, taking every option that's available, and they've got the 2-point buffer going into half. They're going to come out on D. and see if they can dictate. But they have taken this game. They haven't taken the game away, but they've taken the momentum in the last 4 or 5 points now, and it's looking a bit PuTi-like going into half.
It is very much in the hands of the Finns right now. Just seeing that such huge bid and effort all given away by the costly error from Emil's Elschnitz.
And you saw Dzidzi's Malderis going up for that D. He did have position, but he went up early. Missed the D, and it went right into the hands of the receiver. We want your opinion on Ned Garvey's mustache, but also on Dzidzi Malderis' eye makeup. He goes the Ultimate Warrior wrestler style, the smeared eye black all the way down the cheeks.
It's very Dylan Freechild, and I'm not about it.
I would say I'm not about it either. It is very Dylan Freechild, D-free, but yeah, I mean, if you like it, go for it. But these are all style statements out here, as we've discussed. And
it's war paint, though. The Garvey moustache, I feel like, is a fun thing to do between friends. Although I believe the 0-0 for Latvia has quite an impressive beard growth game. But he's clean shaven here. So it's not something you want to be running around with. But I'll show you what I mean, Stefan, for just for you. But friends of Gids Bartmanis, sorry, probably completely annihilated the pronunciation there. We did get some help, but it's hard to put these European names in our brains sometimes. But just showing Stefan the beard game.
A beard game, yeah. He's got a low hanger, almost Amish style there, but he lets it grow. Gets a little bit of length to that beard. We'll go, but still the clean up top, clean upper lip, a lot of clean space on the chin there. He wears it well.
But do you feel? I feel like you've got the different demonstrations. With that one, you have to get rid of it because maybe it's not quite so aerodynamic. You know?
Yeah, maybe that's it. It's funny that you said Ned Garvey's mustache is a fun thing to do amongst friends. I've sported many mustache in my day. I've never qualified it as a fun thing to do amongst friends, but
if you look at the Claphams at the moment, they have a bunch of equally questionable mustaches, in my personal opinion. But hey, I will pop the disc between pals. The Latvians on the charge now, looking a little bit more composed, but static now. Cyril. Big huck going up. Beautiful space, completely free of Wildman. Olovskis with the high fakes, staring around. Who would he like to throw the reset to? I really like that. Taking on a high stall cross-pitch one. Zavula, you can see how far off the mark goes, trying to get around those big arms. Oh my goodness, that is a saucy break coming off the hands of Gids Bartmanis.
Beautiful break. I'm going to take that one back to the Cirule Huck, though. That set that up. Nice finish, a beautiful finish with the break. But the Cirule Huck was in this wind, in this weather. You could see it again. The old elevator shaft. It was moving up and down, but perfectly weighted. Got exactly where it needed to go. No need to lay out. No need to change pace for the receiver. Spot on to where it needed to be. So big shout out to that to Dace Cerule, who put a beautiful backhand huck to set that point up.
And so 7-8, taking the first blood in the second half, sorry, for Salaspils.
And so, off topic, but back on mustache beard topic. Are you a fan of the facial hair, particular as something that's attractive to you in the less fair gender as they sit?
So you're basically asking, do I dig beards or no?
Do you dig beards or stash, or are you a clean-shaven guy?
It just depends, you know. Everybody's different. And I feel like some people have the chops to wear it, yourself, especially Stefan Werpat. So when we met, you had a glorious beard. Very, very bushy. Clearly you're a man with a lot of capacity for facial hair. But I mean, at the moment, like you look at the beard currently on display for Samberi, it's a subtle, very gingery look. But I say, it depends. I can dig the beard occasionally, but what I can't dig, and we can't dig a hole to bury that play, Erkka Niini being overthrown with a loose flick. Gulbe, far sideline. Not really much happening. Tera coming through. The women of Latvia. Sorry, little pause there as I got excited by what was happening downfield. But big, old, expansive one, and Kublichka having to go to ground cover. See how wet the tops of her thighs are, but a bit of a loose dish pass back, and another error for Salaspils.
Love seeing Lasma Kublichka throw that body around. She does it very well. Super strong hands there. She hit the ground, and that was the easiest part of that. Like catching that with two hands that close to the ground was very impressive as they get it back.
Jokinen with the error this time. It's so, I don't know, these people are just humans too, Stefan. When it's wet and it's windy and it's rainy and it is all on the line, they too fluff those catches that we all can relate the feeling of. Oh, hot pressure from PuTi. Kublichka now, high release. Oh my goodness, that is gorgioso. A goal for Salaspils, and that is a break, Stefan.
Big break for Salaspils. Big, beautiful high release throw from Lasma Kublichka. She made the play in the center of the field earlier, got away from them. They got the D back, and she made sure of it the second time around. Beautiful high release setup of that goal. And Salaspils put a couple snowmen on the board right now, 8 apiece, and it's all tied up, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you go anywhere. Stay right here on ULTI.TV, and make sure you click that Patreon button and support, become a member, and you'll have all sorts of opportunities, and you'll just feel good deep down inside for doing it.
It will give the players on the field warmth if you also like the videos, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff.
Anything that's possible of doing to stay closer connected to us, you should be doing. And
just
what
like
better?
you,
what
they
better
want to be close to you?
Of course, of course, we need to be closer to Hannah Pendelbeer. And also, what better time than right now? You're watching. You're at a computer. You can open multiple screens. We know how to do it. Go do it. Make it. You'll thank yourself for it. Here comes PuTi.
Putting it up. And that is Hotari on the far side, one half of the PuTi power couple. Her husband, Roni Hotari, also on this side. And they see a high disc going over the top, smacked down by Salaspils. It's Gulbe with the block. A little bit loose there from PuTi, perhaps. Now, an opportunity to put themselves in front. Salaspils, I believe for the first time this game. Big disc goes up, Niini underneath it, and he gets a tip block and just makes sure. Very nice work from the Finn.
Great defense there to prevent Ned Garvey's mustache from getting an assist. The 11 shirt for
Niini.
the Finns, Niini, doing a great job against Malderis, got position. Good battle, they both got there just about the same time, but that gives the defensive an advantage when they're getting there together. And he did everything he needed to do to
Westman with
put it back in their hands.
Marking. Inkinen, such a dominant presence for the Atletico side. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. It's going to be perfect for the goal. PuTi with the score, and that puts them at 9-8.
That disc by Roni Hotari was on a frozen rope. He wound up and let loose, zero hesitation, and nailed his target right on the spot. That was a thing of beauty. Jarno Sivo cashed it in on the other end, but it was all about the wind-up, all about that huck. You couldn't have done that one wrong.
And the water droplets are flying at us. I keep having to wipe my screen off. We're under probably about 3 meters of solid cover overhead, but the flaps to our pavilion are wide open, so we get a good view of the field in front of us.
So just to repeat that, the flaps are wide open.
The flaps of the tent are wide open.
Okay.
Nothing to do with anybody else's flaps,
not,
especially not Stefan Rapazzo's flaps.
My mind is only on the pavilion. As we push.
I think I might cut you off from your Bruges if you continue to out the innuendo bingo as you are currently doing, Mr. Rapazzo.
I said nothing. I just reiterated what you said and
underlined it, in bolded it, highlighted, got every part of the stationary cupboard out as we see Bertmanis bringing us back into action with his good buddy. And we've just been delivered some warming hot chocolates. Orlovskis thinking about it, considering it. No separation there. He's going to have to put a shot to the break side and just hope that it can be made good of. And it is indeed on the second attempt. Yanis Bernas with the goal, but stall out now is being called on Orlovskis. I'm not surprised to see that, Stefan. Not in the least.
Was a high stall count, but I don't know if I would have got to 10 on that. Every stall count, of course, is different pace, different people calling it. Again, I want to lobby for my shot clock, but until then, we'll have to go with human error available.
That sounds a little bit too much like a certain iteration of disc sport that has 4 letters in its acronym. Not a fan. Not a fan. But have you ever done the thing where you have to all sit down in silence with your eyes closed and count in your head 10, and everybody puts their hand up when they finish, and you find out who's the fast counters and who the slow counters on your team? Good fun, can recommend.
It's a great team building project. I have never done that. Maybe I'll chuck it into the repertoire before next season.
Yeah, as part of, your social get-togethers, make it into a drinking game as we see PuTi having to sling it. A little bit of a hope. Oh, big old collision there coming through the 64. Jason McKeon just takes a little bit too much out of Iva Grabe.
A little over anxious on that defense. He's working hard. He wants to get the D, but that comes very close to qualifying, or if not, it does qualify as dangerous play.
You know what, Stefan? I've just had a little memory in my mind. So we've been chatting a little bit earlier in this week about some memories between myself and some other individuals in the commentary team who were all at the World Junior Ultimate Championships in 2010 in Heilbronn. I just remembered I played a game against the Latvian women in similar conditions to this at that tournament, and they were so good at just hooning it into the mud and the dirt. And they just came down with everything with smiles on their faces. And I feel like this Latvian team in front of us, they look pretty calm, but they look pretty happy right now and comfortable playing in these scuzzy conditions. Oh, look at that high release flick.
That was sexy.
Gashin is going to open up a big ripper. Again, so many of these sitting and hanging sky balls. How on earth did that sneak past just secretly into the hands of Yanis Bernas?
I'm not sure how. The huck was a little bit of a hope and a prayer there, but the prayer was answered. Number 50 comes down with that, Bernans, after he put up that high release flick earlier, the crossfield that I referred to as being sexy. He gets to cash in the goal as well. And they answer the bell, 9 apiece. We're pushing through to the meat of the second half now. We're getting close to that finish line. And we continue to just chip away, trading points, max. The biggest run we've seen of the game is a 3-point run. And it, chipped back away the other way, two doubles at a time. And we're all tied up at 9.
We certainly are, as we see some cute little colour shots there of some cuties on the sidelines, wrapped up warm we could do with some of those for our commentating, probably. Like, I'm not going to say the phrase necessarily of adult pushchair, but like some kind of little pod where we've got a rain cover over us. But, you know, it has to be completely see-through. Maybe we're up on a little bit of an elevator so we get a good field view. I'm starting some plans in my mind here, Stefan, for the future when we're going to have more budget, because we're going to get loads of patrons and we're going to be able to bring you all sorts of ultimate coverage. But that is a beautiful throw. It's got Nini underneath it, but on the attack we have, oh my lord, second grab. What focus. Lovely little hand slap there. Oh, and of course it's the number 23 with his lovely black cheeks. Didis Malderis unable to prevent the goal for PuTi, but what a play for Nini. The second recatch in these conditions, Stefan.
Throw, very, very impressive. On a wire, got there quick. The reception looked like it was perfect the first time around. Here it is again. And there's the play. I thought he had it, actually. And to come down and get that second grab while his foot was landing, while he's coming down, going the same direction of the disc. Great concentration there. Unlucky for Malderis to not be able to break that one up.
And you have to respect the going up early as well, actually. You have to be aggressive and try and attack it. You know, knowing probably knowing the top of his jump in the dry is important there. I think that's probably what Nini went for. He's like, yeah, I got this. Oh wait, hold on. I just have to hit as I release my cleat from the field here. Got to be taken into account, but the composure, like you say, that body control as he comes down with it, as we see Orlovsky is now with disc in hand, snood over his head. That's got to be one soggy piece of headgear at this point. As Banans sends his mark, stumbling to the ground, gets a little bit of Vrodeman's knee on the way through. But nothing feisty, just a bit of contact.
Bit of contact, shake it off. They're both acknowledging that it was nothing intentional. Small bit of pain, back at it.
Orlovskis has some cuts available upfield, doesn't like the look of any of them. Going to choose the reset round. I think that's to Tada in the rather fetching socks, and I guess, you know, even as we see an arm opened up, big one, and again is Yanis Bernans with the goal, becoming a favoured target in the late stages of this game.
Having a heck of a game, Bernans. He's doing a bit of everything. He's working the disc in the midsection. He's playing D's, throwing the body on the line, and most prominently, he's becoming a target who's taking discs high in the end zone and keeping his team at level as we hit double digits, 10 apiece. This game is a absolute cracker, a instant classic in this weather particularly, and we've got a maximum of 9 points to play, and I suspect we might get there.
We've got some comments. Just watching this game apparently is making Amelia Durbin never want to play Frisbee ever again. But this is indeed the sludge match, grudge match. Out here, semi-finals, looking to advance to the winner of Hut versus Flow. And we'll bring you an update on that one. It's being streamed on the other field here, field 2, the AstroTurf field, with a much nicer playing surface. Thankfully, this field, after this game, will be allowed to recover from the absolute tearing up that it has experienced from the players out here trying to cut very hard. But have to say, shout out to the players for not slipping and sliding that much. She says, as we see Leno just going all over the floor, it's like she had a tarpaulin underneath her and some washing up liquid. Little cheeky clean of the disc from Orlovskis. Has Garvey pointing on the under. That's going to sail over the top, but great composure, great read. But commentators curse from me.
The rescue was there. It was over Kublitska's head. It looked like it was all forgotten. Then it was like, oh, great, the savior is here to save the day. And right through the hands, turned the disc over, flipped it upside down, and PuTi goes the other way.
Yeah, Helen Terra unable to capitalize on that overshot. Nini, far sideline, looking for options. Keaton, Sambere. Oh, it's opened up a big one again. Vestman underneath it, but in, flying through, just to cause enough confusion. Her own teammate, friendly fire from Erkanini.
But it was Lasma Kublitska just in the center of that whole mess, willing to put her body as like the human pinball there, bouncing around from one player to the next, got the hand up. Whether she got a touch or not, she did everything she needed to do to cause the turnover.
Albertine passing it to Lorlovsky. Srule. Sending players flying. Nice poaching off, but exposes Ned Garvey in the center. Or should we say Ned Garvey's moustache? Let's just call him the moustache. It's too many words to say Ned Garvey's. Helen Terran out with the unders. Finds Gulbe. Now all the continuation disappears as the players sink into the sludge. Big poach off again from the front of the stack. Not a big fan of that myself. Can sometimes lead to dangerous situations, but the number 32, Jano Silva, seems to be doing it fairly well. Big shot going up. Trust and respect. Cerule with the goal for Salaspils, and that puts them in front.
And great vision there from Kublitska. She's on the sidelines. She did look to center. The centering cut was covered. She looked up line. There was a lot of traffic. I'm not sure if that was the intended receiver. I got to trust a player like her. It would have been. But she throws over a pile of receivers. One receiver and two other defenders in the neighborhood. Goes over top of everybody, and Dace Cerule is there to reel it in. And Salaspils answer the bell there. And go up one in this pressing contest, late quarters.
I think, Stefan, that one was intended for Tom's Albertines, but who nearly clatters the living daylights out of Dace Cerule. And it's so nice to see Dace coming on to the field here. As I said, doesn't actually believe live in Latvia anymore. She might have returned since I was sharing a taxi back from the fields in Karole with her and get that inside track. But it's always nice to see these Eastern European sides with their friends coming back just for the love of it. And you have people, for example, coming from the Russian team, Toli Vasilyev, coming back even though he lives on a completely different continent.
Well, that's, I mean, you know, you talk about pickups and externals. It's not that. When you go back to play for the home team, if you're gone and you go back to your roots, that's keeping it real. That's loyalty.
It is, and I tell you what, the connections on this PuTi team, they are indeed a family team too. Love playing together. And that's why these mixed teams gel together so well. You can really tell they're fighting for each other out here on the pitch. Big chuck it and hope. Nini with a sliding attempt, but just bobbles out of his hands. You can see every time the players strike the ground, Stefan, they just take up so much of the turf. Although these fields were pretty soft in the first game on the field 3. I remember there was I went to go chat to somebody on the sideline. I had to fill a hole in by stamping on the ground because it is quite soft on the fields here in Bruges. But the pole to start off this point was great. Set Salaspils up really well. But a concentration error. Gulbe with the drop. That's got to hurt.
Oh, the slippery nipple out there. Turn that one upside down. Can't hang on. And there's a lot of that happening. There's the timeout. A well-timed timeout. That's the right time for it. Give themselves a end zone opportunity once we get back into action here. But oh, geez, those ones hurt when it's right in the bread basket. Both hands on it, and it turned over. Disc literally turned over. You catching it and flipping it upside down.
And it just looks so sad. So sad when that happens. But we're going to take a brief break as these teams time out and resettle themselves. We'll be back after this.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back here to Salaspils versus PuTi, the sludge match, grudge match as we are calling it. Its score is 11-10. It's been a real dogfight here in the dirt as we see PuTi with a short field opportunity gifted by a drop from Gulbe.
Fight indeed.
High one up for Leno. Looking for options, great coverage. Salaspils working their socks off that are going to be covered in dirt, but it just about squeaks through. Bertans tries everything he can to get in the way, but this is what you want. You want to know that you can hang tough in these situations. And by golly, it's like being in a literal war zone right now.
Being rested all through a tournament is so great. But being battle tested in your semis and your elimination games is so much better if you're going into a final than prancing your way through easy semis. So I agree with you completely. The winner of this is going to get that slight advantage that they're going to need against Groot because of this tough, hard-fought match to get there.
You can really see as the pitch is degrading now. This point in particular, things are looking mighty slippy. You're not seeing the cuts come as hard as they have been, but also from a defensive perspective, if your matchup can make that hard time and manage to just sort of swivel themselves around in this sludge, you're going to be gone. So everybody tiptoeing around downfield at the moment. But as we survey the field up, we've got Vestment going into the deep, and that's why we have seen so many hucks as Rekola finds an escape. Big one going into the end zone. Oh, and that is beautiful. Yassi Sastamoinen with the goal. And that is a much needed hold. No, I tell you what, that's not a hold, Stefan. Trying to enter this into Comsource. That's a break for PuTi.
Who in the what now? A break at this stage of the game while we were just saying PuTi's coming good. They're fine in their stride. They're starting to get their end zone offense together in the late stages of the game. They're getting one of their first breaks, their first second half break. their second half break in the second half of the game, and they are looking very good right now, taking that lead. Hotari's forehand huck there. The reception was great, but the no hesitation on the sideline, on the power position side, beautiful catch and throw there to make that one count.
I'm loving in the comments, Rolin Piron saying, looks like Lecco. Couldn't agree with you more. But hopefully, well, thankfully, this is the last turf match we're going to have, so we're not going to have to fly in any helicopters to try and scoop the water off of the pitch. But when we saw PuTi break last, it was a 3-point trot. They got a bit of momentum behind them. Let's see if they can do the same thing again, as Orlovsky's will bring us back into play at the brick mark. To see his little face poking out through the snood. It's definitely a look. How are you feeling about the snood look, Stefan, since you've quizzed me on my love of facial hair or not?
Yeah, snood, that's like the bandana around the neck, or it's the hoodie?
Well, it's exactly what Orlovsky's is wearing right now.
Oh yeah, this thing, no, not a fan. They look like some space movie characters or something.
It's very wormy. It's definitely very wormy.
I mean, I get its practicality, especially in this day and age where mask wearing is also something that is, well, I don't know, necessary or popular, however you want to put it. It gives you the double function. It's warm, but style-wise, nah, I ain't for it.
I think it might work better if it matched the jerseys, but either way, it seems to be not getting in the way, but providing that all-important bit of extra warmth, maybe stopping the rain from going in the ears.
And wait a minute, what do we call those again? What is that thing called on his head?
A snood.
A snood, okay. I'm gotta learning things every day.
It might be a brand name, so apologies, you know, there are other options of headgear available, but there clearly are two people who like wearing headgear since they have caps on. However, we're going to focus on the action at hand. Kashina with the disc, pumps it forward. Oh, and Vestman with the big block, and this could be the moment where we see PuTi go on their second run of the game.
Westman coming up huge there with that layout. She's been doing it all game.
It was a very flat backhand that came out, which is the sort of throw you want to put, but a little bit of curve on it makes it harder for those bids to come through on the inside, like Vestman's block. And a miscue throw. Vestman throws herself at it, but gets nothing but dirt all over her legs and chest.
Yeah, that one very, very close. People looking to the sidelines to ensure it was down rather than up, but Westman couldn't haul it in, and Salaspils need to cash this one in at this stage of the game. Cerule gets it in, gets it going.
Oh, huge effort from Nobinen trying to stop that one. I enjoyed the cheeky little scuba that looked just as casual as a backhand earlier on in this point, but Salaspils now with everything to do, finding themselves behind late stages of this game. Patience, nice reset to Lorski's, and popping it in, and that is just about good enough. A nice hold there for Salaspils, and they put us back on serve. No, not on serve, sorry. They put us back one in the bank. It's 12-12.
It's 12-12, and that is on serve.
Yeah,
PuTi opened things up on offense way back when at the start of this game. 12 apiece. This is the exact opposite of what I said there was the potential for of a game of trading runs. They are back and forth. They're small runs, but it's just been back and forth, blow for blow, punch for punch. They are really going at it here, and it's a heck of a venue for it. Like, okay, for us, it's a little bit chilly, it's a little bit wet and uncomfortable, but there's no better place to have a dogfight like this with the rain kicking up. It really feels like you're in the heat of the battle when you're battling an equally strong opposition, and you're both battling the elements just the same. Who could ask for anything more? We're at the pointy end of this one, and very much looking forward to how it shapes out.
The sharp, pointy pine cone of this game, and I'm with you. It does look like a battlefield out there. But I think they're going to be signalling an offside, perhaps. Is that the correct hand signal there, Stefan? Oh, they didn't pull the right gender. There we go. Well, unlike the final point of the European Championship finals in Gjø, where it didn't get noticed until well into the point, an incorrect gender matchup there from the pull.
Gender pull. So the European Championship was one team had 4-3 men, the other had 4-3 women. This time, the gender matchups on the field were the same, but the wrong gender pulling with the new rules where it has to rotate men's pulls and women's pulls equally.
Love that rule, Stefan.
As do I. I think it's as I haven't played in a mixed division where it's happened, but as I understand, it's a difficult one to monitor.
I think it's one of those things if it's a self-refereed sport, Stefan, so you just got to be mindful of that. It's another thing to have in your bag of responsibilities as a player out on the field. But yeah, loving to see that gets introduced for the World Games, as we see actually in front of Bernard's. I don't know if we can get a shot of that. There's a big old flipping hole that Inkin has just walked over. You can just see it in the corner of your screen there. Hopefully nobody falls into that one. But yeah, nice to see the European Federation saying, actually, we really like the look of that rule. We're just going to use it as well. Oh, huge pressure there from Sinica. And nice working up the field. Nini now, far sideline, has Vestman available. Big old hit from Lasma Kublicka, hot on her tail. Orlovsky's on the mark, as these two players will have a little chat. But we are going neck and neck here. Toe to toe. All of the
body parts to body parts.
Exactly, and all of the sayings we can think of to just slip on in here as these teams slip on around this field. Oh, and it's a huge hand block for Orlovsky's. Says no thank you, denies Nini. It's got your number, mate.
What a big moment for a point-blank block. Salaspils now going the other way, and this would be huge if they could cash it in.
As we see Madx trying to pop up, Albertine, popping up from the center of the field, having it fallen over. Orlovsky's looking for it. Bernard, instead, he's going to launch it deep. Nini underneath it, though, swats it away like a swatter. And we see this one, time trickling away, about shy of the time cap that will be applied at 90 minutes of game clock. Not entirely accurate here, but a pick downfield will bring us back as PuTi have the opportunity to take their next one, but 12's the current score. Everything on serve. If this one trades out from here, it will be the Finns that advance to face Hut. And Vestman, in acres of room, manages to sneak away from Kublicka. Look at the activity on that mark. Up and down go the arms, trying to prevent the big wingspan of Vestman. Inkinen puts it up high. Easy catch though, not too much behind, and it's a trust and hope put to Vestman. Can she reel it in? But it's an overthrow from Nini. The disappointment.
Too much on that one. Tough one. Vestman had space. Kublicka was trailing and just ran out of line. The line came too quick, and a misthrown disc in a crucial moment of this game. For PuTi, they had the opportunity. This one they give back to Salaspils as Orlovskis takes the long walk to the back of the end zone to get this one ready to put back into play.
Just enjoying that long shot there of Kublicka and Vestman. Two players that no doubt will have marked each other quite a few times at this point. Kublicka, of course, the Euro star, 2 years in a row, 18 and 19. A big part of that one. Playing through the 19 iteration with a twisted ankle, but still getting blocks like an absolute champion. Bernards pops it off to Orlovskis. Has a look at it. Surule, well marked by Jinkinen. Terra coming under. Just giving that reset option. Now she goes back deep. Being marked by Leno. The matchups for these players all so very, very hot. Just a little bit nice high grab on the far side. Sija releases Salaspils. Holds it, doesn't do much for it, and then tosses it high. Surule, little bit of a stumble.
Doing well to keep her foot.
Yep, sends Iknin flying. Kubicka right behind her, completely open and available for a dump if she needs it. But there's a call on the field.
Not quite sure what that call was. Maybe some contact on the mark.
Well, this is an important moment, Stefan. This is inches away from a break for Salaspils.
Can ill afford a break. Very little time for the break back if it does go that way.
Well, everything is wet. Everything is slippery. Can Salaspils hold on to this opportunity and make something of it? It's a big one to the break side. It's just out of the reach for Helen Terra. Punches it into the ground as she lays out to try and get this one sorted.
3 of the Salaspils women's cascading over to that end. It looked like each one of them may have had the chance. Terra was the last one in the cascade there and went to ground off the hands. Would have been a exceptional catch. The throw had just a bit much on it. Throw could have been a bit better in all honesty, but the break opportunity slips away for the time being, and PuTi starting from their coffin corner with Inkinen.
Well, if you want anybody picking it up in that nasty part of the field, Inkinen is probably the individual that you're going to pick. Big pack of people over the top, but just behind Suvo. Nothing happening, and then just spots his teammate. Oh, Leno trying really hard to keep that one on. Terra caught sleeping perhaps, and the timeout called. I like that. Both teams here, it's turned into a scrappy one. They need to have a little moment to just recalibrate.
Timeout very necessary, I'd say there. Very unfortunate. 34 there, Ronnie Hodari did well to outweight the leaping pack. Let everybody go up. Johnny on the spot, caught the disc behind everybody, and then a wide open deep receiver, but a little bit too much pepper on the throw, and with these conditions, unable to handle, and bounced off the chest while she hit the ground.
And so for the fans in the stream, we seem to have found an occupant of one of our favourite pieces of colour. We've got a little bit of tent action, but we'll bring you that in just a few moments.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love.
Welcome back. We are knee deep in the mud, and we've found an occupant of the mystery tent. It's not for naughty people, it's for photographers so they can keep their equipment dry. And look at the size of that telephoto lens, getting some good snaps in the right-hand end zone for... Absolutely. So Olofsky's powers it in. The chest and the fakes of Sunska. My mouth not being the driest as we reach the later stages of this game. 12-12 the score, maximum of 6 points left. Very much the meaty end of the kebab. Leno far side just about manages to get her claws around it, squeezing on Ikinen. But there's going to be a travel call. I'm not sure that Stefan Rapazzo, they could have helped the travel. A huge play upfield, but that will unfortunately have to be brought back. Maja Leno, what a hero bid. You absolute legend. I'm really glad that got filmed. I'd be interested to see the stumble from Inkinen back, because I feel like that was a slip rather than intentional travel. But hey ho, it gets called, and them's the rules. So let's see if Inkinen can make the magic happen again. Vestman stumbles there, slipping and sliding, and unable to keep her hands around the disc. And so sad that huge grab for Leno is all for naught. Bernans. Oh, and a huge stumble from the middle of the field. It's almost unplayable now. Cerule is going to open up, no, I say, going to open up the arm. She sold me with that fake. Kubichka there, the pick suspiciously open. So we haven't had the time cap applied, is my understanding, to this game. So it's still a game potentially to 15, although we will find out for you. We will send one of our crew across the field to speak to the scorekeepers and get an indication. Or maybe I'll have to run across in my wellies, since no one else seems prepared to do this. I'll put my anorak on for you guys to find out. Barnans. If only we had a wireless microphone and I could go do that and give you a running commentary of me terribly running with a slightly twisted ankle. Orlovskis can see in front of us. Every time the force moves, it leaves a mark in the field. Albertinge just about clinging onto that one around. How are these players still standing? Barnans thinks about it, has a little flirt, but Kublichka coming in. Oh my goodness, she opens it up. Can he lay it out? Yes, he can. The layout clap catch for Albertinge, and that is a break for Salaspils.
Stage of the game to go up by 1, 13-12. They can walk their way to a semi-final victory if they just hold their offense.
Well, I know Salaspils will be hungry to go and face Huts to show and prove that they can do it not once but twice with an extra little pinch of spice on top, and that will of course be on the AstroTurf. They will not have to return to this dungeon of sin, this field that is just, it's honestly, even just watching at the moment as we see one of the players, I think that's Helen Terra coming on. No, I keep calling Casina Helen Terra, but watching her come off the field, we watched out some of the PuTi players on the far side, it really is just, you can see underfoot even walking, the way the ground is moving underneath them. It's just so weird. It's like ice skating Frisbee. No, it bounced on the floor first, thankfully, but that's a really difficult one, and it generates the immediate turn. Oh my lord. That's why you learn to pull real good for moments like this, and Salaspils so close to be able to put themselves in front. So it's game to 14. This could be it for the young team from Latvia. Isolated off the front. Little stoppage there.
This could be it. It is a game to 14. We've had our correspondents check out and give us time.
Podgorskis with the disc in hand. Another pick call, unsurprisingly. As we get a little frantic here in the commentary pavilion, the streaming pavilion. A little bit of a chat at the back of the end zone. But this is the moment. Salaspils with the win behind them, and it's going to be a goal.
They've
for
done
Ned
it.
Garvey, and that is Salaspils through to the mixed final to face Hut tomorrow, ladies and gents.
Ned Garvey and his mustache cash in the final goal. Salaspils get the job done. A hard-fought battle. Tough luck for PuTi. Second time at it. They had the lead. They gave it up very late in the game. And as Hannah said, it will be Salaspils joining Groot tomorrow on the big stage for the mixed final here at xEUCF 2021.
Well, commiserations to PuTi. They put themselves in charge at the end of the first half. 8-6 they led, but the second half, just Salaspils tipping away, gnawing at the lead, chomping at the heels, just being agile enough to come up with the goods. I'm sure both teams will look back on this one and have lots of conflicting emotions, but they're going to be delighted that it's over. A little bit of a happy moment for PuTi to think, I do not have to run around on this churned up ground anymore, but it has been an absolute pleasure to have you guys with us on this stream. ULTI.TV bringing you the extended European Ultimate Championship finals. Join us tomorrow. What time does the stream open? Stefan, is it 9 o'clock in the morning? Do we have? So 10:40, there we go. Told by Dominique from Comms. We're going to find this out. I'm going to find this out myself. Let's have a look.
Doing it the hard
Dear
way.
viewers, let's look down through ComSource. Tomorrow, the first game slot, it's going to be 10:40. 10:40 European Central Time. So set your clocks. If you're in the UK, it's an hour earlier. If you're in a different time zone, look it up. Ask Google to tell you what time 10:40 Central European Time is for you. But you are going to want to get your ticket for that match. Support ULTI.TV.